Hey guys, I'm Alvin from One More Week to Go, and today I'm going to share with you guys something that I've never really shared on this channel before. Now I'm going to be totally honest, I've been kind of stuck in a dilemma for a while now. As some of you might know, aside from making travel videos or trip reports on my flight experiences, another aviation related passion of mine is actually plane spotting, or aviation photography, however you want to call it. Anyway, I've been doing this for, 3 or 4 years now, and I'm not afraid to say I've been pretty successful at it. But for something that's been such a big part of my life, it's remained largely a mystery to you guys. Well, I think it's about time to change that. I want to show you what it's like waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning, still half asleep, driving out to the airport just to catch that one special plane coming in during the first light of the day. Hiking through tall grass, braving the wind and rain, sometimes mosquitoes, just to get that one epic shot. Hearing the scream of jet engines overhead that make your chest rumble. I want to share with you some of the techniques that I've used to make my work stand out and have that wow factor, and how I've been able to recover photos that you wouldn't even imagine could be saved. I want to share some of my personal challenges as well as advice for growing your passion in this unique and competitive industry. I want to show you what it's like to be an aviation photographer. And I hope I can inspire some of you to take that journey with me. So what exactly is plane spotting? Well, if you're not already a plane spotter, you probably have never heard this term before. When I try to explain it to people, they either think I'm super weird, or it's like one of the geekiest things they've ever heard of. So instead of just telling you about it, why don't we actually go and do some plane spotting today, and I'll show you. Alright, so we are headed out to our first location. There's actually not a whole lot going on right now, obviously due to the time of day and also due to COVID, but we'll see what we can get. It's pretty nice weather, got some nice clouds happening. Alright, so we are here now at our first spot, so why don't we go and have a look. So we're here now at the Dirt Hill, or also known as the Construction Hill, and it's a pretty popular spot here in Vancouver for several reasons. Firstly, you can get unobstructed views of the entire runway from this spot. This is runway 26 right or 8 left, depending on which way they're coming in. You're basically standing on dirt piles here, which gets you above the fence line, and you don't have to shoot through a fence, which is always annoying. So that's one reason why it's really popular. There's a lot of possibilities of different angles here, depending on which way they're coming in. So it's a pretty versatile spot. There's a little Air Canada -8 landing right now. So today they're landing on 26 right. So why don't we talk about the first question that everyone has, which is, well, what exactly is plane spotting? Now, the dictionary definition is basically the act of observing aircraft movement in and around the airports. And most often it's accompanied by either photography or videography. Now, that's a very dry and generic definition that doesn't really tell you much. Let's put it that way.
So that's one reason why I'm actually trying to make these videos, to actually bring you along as I'm plane spotting and actually show you what it's like. Plane spotting is a hobby that's done by many aviation enthusiasts. There is really no age restriction. There's younger spotters, there's older spotters, and there's everyone in between. And all you really need is just a love for airplanes. Now, there are a lot of different types of spotters. There's the more traditional ones who like to just capture the aircraft delivery and capture different aircraft registration. Sometimes they keep like logbooks of all the different registrations that they've photographed and, you know, kind of create like a database. And it's kind of like Pokemon, you try to catch them all. And there's the other types who are more about the photography and more about the artistic angles, more about the editing. Personally, I find myself more in that category. I try to go for not just trying to capture the aircraft itself, but trying to photograph it in a very beautiful way with the environment, with the background. And that's the part of aviation photography that I really like. But really the key message is that there isn't a wrong way to go about it. As long as you're enjoying it and having fun and learning, really that's all that matters. So why do people plane spot? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Firstly, it's just a lot of fun. There's so many different aircraft, so many different liveries. So a lot of people have a lot of fun just trying to photograph them all, seeing planes that they've never seen before, trying to photograph airplanes that they have flown on. So a lot of people find satisfaction from that. For me, I find that air travel has become such a norm these days. Well, putting aside COVID, air travel has become such a norm these days that it's taken kind of the glamour out of traveling. Through plane spotting and aviation photography, I think it's just a really cool way to remind people or to show people how amazing aircraft actually are, or how amazing the engineering that goes into them is. And just remind people that air travel is something that we shouldn't be taking for granted, and we should be grateful for it. And we should try to enjoy it a bit more and make it more part of our travel experience rather than just getting from point A to point B. Secondly, it's just a great way to try and improve your photography skills. And try to master the 3 elements of exposure, which is aperture, shutter, and ISO. There's a lot of different situations that you can find yourself plane spotting in. You can have a lot of light, like how it is right now. You can plane spot during the night, and you'll have to, manage your shutter speed and your aperture accordingly. There's just a lot of situations that can be very challenging for plane spotting, and it just forces you to become a better photographer, become a better master of your equipment. And I know personally, through plane spotting, it has improved my photography drastically. Plane spotting is also really great for building friendships and getting involved in the community. Personally, I have developed a lot of new friendships, both here locally in Vancouver and also around the world. Man, it's really tiring holding up the camera for so long. My arms are getting a workout. The airport's pretty dead, so let's head back to the car. Another reason why I really like this spot is you can see the North Shore Mountains from here. All right, let's head to another spot. So a lot of people ask me, how did I personally get started into plane spotting? Actually, I kind of just stumbled upon it accidentally. I was going on a bike ride and I rode to the airport. I live just like a couple minutes from the airport, so it was a pretty quick ride. I had my camera in my backpack. I saw some planes coming into land, so I just decided to take my camera out and snap a couple of pictures. I got home, edited them really quickly, and posted them online on Instagram. And that's when I found out that there was actually a whole community of people whose sole photography career or their photography passion was just centered around aviation, around taking pictures of airplanes and posting them online for their friends and for other people to see. And so that was really intriguing to me as an aviation geek myself. So I went back to the airport with my camera and I took more photos, started to improve my photography skills. And over time, I got better at taking photos, I got better at editing. There was a lot of good feedback and good reaction for my work, so I kept doing it. And eventually I just started to travel for the sole purpose of plane spotting. I would travel to LAX to take photos there. There's a lot of great aircraft movement there. Also, I did their helicopter aerial spotting, went to Toronto as well to do aviation photography, went to Montreal. In Japan, I also did a lot of aviation photography. And from there, as my work became more professional, higher quality, I upgraded my camera to get higher quality images. I reached out to magazines and got some of my pictures published in magazines. I actually even got my photo published on the front cover of several magazines now, and worked with a couple of different companies such as Vancouver Airport or some airlines, some hotels. Kept growing my passion from there and becoming a big part of my personal life and a big part of my hobbies, big part of my photography passion. So I'm here now at Flight Path Park. They've got children's play area over there with a globe and a pretty cool replica of the runway configuration in Vancouver. Right now we're standing at the threshold of 08 right. The clouds are actually really nice today.
How do you get started in plane spotting? How do you become an aviation photographer? Well, you really don't need a whole lot to get started. You really just need a camera, so that can be like a digital camera, or if you can afford like a more entry-level DSLR or mirrorless camera, and a decent sized telephoto lens. Most people start off with like a 16 to 105 millimeter, or like how I started off was with an 18 to 200 millimeter lens. And just go out to the airport and bring your camera along and start taking photos of airplanes and see what you can do with it. It's honestly a lot of practice and experimentation and just doing it over and over again. Rinse and repeat, and you'll just find that you get better the more you do it. And also I recommend downloading an app called Flight Radar 24, which is an app that shows you the movement of aircraft flying around all over the world. Normally you use it to track like what planes are coming in that day, what's flying around, what's flying overhead. It's a very handy tool and it's free. So yeah, it's a pretty low barrier to entry, so there's really no excuse to not try it out.
So I hope that this video serves as kind of a nice introduction, a nice overview of what plane spotting is, why I like plane spotting, how I got into it, and why it's such a big part of my life. And as I said in the beginning of this video, I've been doing trip reports, I've been doing travel videos, but I felt a large part of what the One More Week to Go brand was actually the aviation photography. It was the plane spotting, and that's what I really enjoyed as well. So I'm pretty excited for the new direction of this channel, and I'll be putting up new videos focused around aviation photography. So a lot of you guys have actually asked for editing tutorials, which I also plan on creating, so definitely stay tuned if you're interested in that. But I hope that these videos can serve as kind of like a resource for both beginners and more experienced plane spotters as well. And hopefully I can inspire some of you who maybe are interested in aviation, but maybe didn't know where to start, or didn't know what equipment you needed or what plane spotting was all about. So hopefully I can inspire some of you to actually come along for that journey with me as a plane spotter and as an aviation photographer. Thanks a lot for sticking around to the end. I know this one was a little bit different, but I'm really excited for the new direction of these videos and sharing this different side of me that I've never been able to share with you before. So if you're interested in photography, if you're interested in aviation, if you've always wondered what it is to be a plane spotter, definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the new content that I'll be sharing on this channel. Thanks for watching, happy plane spotting, and I'll see you in the next one.